Hey everybody, we're going to do a little practice quiz for determinants. So let's get out a piece of paper. You do not have a paper for this, so just get out a separate sheet of paper and or your whiteboard, whatever you are using, and let's practice a couple of determinants. So we'll just start with this one right here. We're going to evaluate this determinant. Very, very simple. Remember, you multiply, start here. We multiply 1 times 5. And we multiply 4 times 2. And we subtract those. So it's 5 minus 8. So the value of that determinant is negative 3. 5 minus 8. Negative 3. Let's try another one. I put some negatives in this one because it's really, really important that you keep track of your arithmetic. These are so easy, but it's also easy to make a careless mistake. So it never hurts to write it down. I'm not saying you have to, but it wouldn't hurt to say, okay, I'm going to take 6 times 2. I'm going to take negative 4 times negative 1. So 6 times 2, negative 4 times negative 1. That gives me 12 and 4. And then what do I do with those two numbers? I subtract them. So the answer is 8. 12 minus 4. All right, that's it for the 2 by 2s. Let's do a couple 3 by 3s. Remember that to find a determinant, your matrix has to be square. So the smallest we can do is a 2 by 2. And then the next step after that would be a 3 by 3. And we're not going any farther than that. So you're only required to know how to do the 2 by 2s and the 3 by 3s. So here we go. Let's do 1, 2. I'll go ahead and put a couple zeros in there. Now, it doesn't matter. The work is going to be the same, but you do have to be careful. Remember, when you multiply by 0, you get 0. So, do you remember your first steps here? First thing we have to do is recopy the first two columns. This is a column. Columns go up and down. So 1, negative 1, 2. This set of numbers right here. And then this set of numbers, 0, 5, 1. So we recopy the first column. We recopy the second column. And now we're ready to start working. So remember, we always start here, just like before. Start at the beginning. And now you're going to multiply these 3 together. So you're going to take 1 times 5 times 0. Well, 1 times 5 times 0 is 0. Then you're going to multiply 0 times 4 times 2. So 0 times 4 times 2, that's another 0. And then one more, we're going to multiply 2 times negative 1 times 1. So 2 times negative 1 times 1 is negative 2. Now, add those up. Find the total of those numbers, and that would be negative 2. You're not done. Now we're going to go backwards. So now we're going to start here and go this way. So 2 times 5 times 2, multiply. 2 times 5 times 2, that's 20. 1 times 4 times 1, that's 4. And 0 times anything, that's just going to be 0. So 20, multiply these together, 20. Multiply these together, 4. Multiply these together, 0. Add them up. And that's 24. Now, you have two numbers left to deal with. You have your negative 2 and your 24. Take those two numbers in that order, negative 2 and 24, and subtract them. So negative 2 minus 24 is negative 26. And that is the answer to the question. All right, let's do one more like that. Okay, we're going to do another 3 by 3. And again, these are all done exactly the same way. So if you're having issues, just practice, practice, practice. Redo the same problems over and over and over again if you want. All right, let's try 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 5. All right. Oh, let me put a couple negatives in there. We ought to probably have some negatives floating around. Let's put a negative there and a negative there. How's that? Okay, so if you got started early, notice I did change those two numbers. So now this is the determinant that I'm going to evaluate. So look back at your previous problem, or at your notes, or dig deep into your brain. What are the first things we need to, what is the first thing we need to do? We need to start by recopying these two columns. So 1, -3, 0, and -2, 2, 1. So this column right here, look where I'm pointing, this column right here gets copied right here. And then this column right here gets copied right here. Okay? Here we go. We're going to multiply these three together. So 1 times 2 times 5, that gives me 10. -2 times 1 times 0, that's just going to be 0. Don't waste time multiplying. If you've got a 0, you know when you multiply, you're just going to get 0. And then one more. 3 times -3 times 1, that's -9. So I got 10. I'm multiplying these numbers together. So I got 10, 0, and -9. Add them up. 1. So in the blue direction, we have 1. Okay, now go the other way. So here we go in the red direction. We got 0 and 1. And now watch this. 5 times -3 times -2. Now you have a negative and a negative multiplied, so that's going to be a positive. So that's going to be positive 30. Positive 30 when I multiply those three numbers together. Right here, these three. All right, let's total them up. Now, what do I do with those two numbers? I subtract. So I'm going to take 1 minus 31. So my answer will be -30. Okay? Good. All right, we'll do one more of each, and then we'll be ready. You'll be ready to take a quiz. Again, if you don't feel ready, then you need to practice these some more. Rewind this tape and do it again. Here we go. It's a little 2x2. We're going to find the value of that determinant. So do that on your own. Find the value of that determinant. It's a 2x2. You know what to do. What did you get as your answer? You should have it by now. This doesn't take very long to do this one. This is easy. What did you get? I hope you got 3 times 8, 0 times 5. It's not looking very good. Subtracted. I hope you got 24 as your answer. 24 minus 0. 24 minus 0. Okay, if you didn't get that, you need to practice some more. All right, let's do a big one now, a bigger one. All right, here we go. Take a moment and get started on evaluating this. Get it written down. Get started on evaluating it. I will do the same thing. Try not to look. Try to do it on your own. And hopefully we will come up with the same answer. It is so easy to make arithmetic mistakes. So be very, very careful to make sure that you're not making arithmetic mistakes. I got negative 45. I wish I could see a show of hands how many got negative 45. But let's go through this together and make sure I didn't make any mistakes. Hopefully, when you did this, you started right here and you multiplied. So I get 0, and then I get negative 12, and then I get negative 15. So that makes negative 27 when I total those up. Then I got a 0, a positive 6, because I have a negative negative, so it's a positive 6, and a 12. So I get 18 when I total those up. To get my final answer then, I take my first total minus my second total. So negative 27 minus 18, that's negative 45. Done. Good.